Hello and welcome to John Broons, the Family Business Guy. This is the Family Business Show, and I'm really happy to have you along today. I have Tim Pannell from Rocks Gone as my special guest, and I also want to thank Tech, the Executive Connection, sponsors for our show today. We'll come back shortly after this break. Hi there and welcome to the Family Business Show. I'm John Broons and my special guest today is Tim Pannell from Rocks Gone. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, John.
Great to have you along. Rocks Gone. Tell us a little bit about the business and where you are and how you started, please.
Well, John, originally I was farming, so it was in my pre-life farming that I discovered the problem with shallow rock. And after farming, I was looking for something else to do. And so that's when I started investigating other possibilities of ways of solving this problem. So that was the beginning of Rocks Gone. And Rocks Gone actually started out as a contracting company, a contracting business, and just had me and my wife Tanya, just trying to make something work more economically.
Okay, so it was a family business from the point of view of you and your wife running a contracting business, and the love of rocks
or the hate
or the dislike of rocks
Yeah.
is something that pointed you in the direction of trying to resolve an issue that all farmers face on the land.
It's a very common issue that farmers face, at least, because vast areas of Australia are very, very old, and that soil has eroded over millions of years. So not many continents are so shallow.
Okay, so we're talking West Australian based.
Yep.
Is where your base is, but you do your work around Australia because of the type of soils or the rocks
That's
that
correct.
are around.
Yep.
So the problem that you're trying to resolve is break up the rocks to give the farmers more arable land.
That's correct.
From what they've been using.
Yeah, so a lot of the rock is originally was just quite loose or soil type rock, and it's been over millions of years been compacted, and through different processes it's turned into rock. And quite often it's just a cap rock too, so it's in a farming sense it's quite shallow, and there's not actually a lot of it. There's just no machine, no agricultural machine that'll deal with that cap rock. And below the cap rock is soft again. So if you can deal with that cap and break that cap up and turn it into soil, crushed rock, then the farmer's got a much deeper profile. And that depth of profile is what's so important, because farming's like growing a veggie garden in a pot plant. If you've got a very shallow pot plant, it's very difficult to grow the veggies. Mm-hmm. And you've got a very small reserve of moisture holding ability and nutrient holding ability. And when you can deepen that pot out, then it gives so much more reserve, so much more bank in the soil. And large areas of the world have beautiful deep soils, and Australia mostly doesn't. And they scratch around on the surface, and they rely on our temperamental rainfall and our temperamental weather. And with a shallow topsoil, it's very difficult to survive those dry spells and wet spells.
So what was it that gave you the idea that you could break up this cap rock?
Well, we had machines that could go through it, and there was already machines doing it. But the problem was the cost. The cost per hectare was too high. So I just started off trying to find a way to do it more economically. So, and I was purely focused on agriculture, and that was the economics had to be very good for agriculture, because our agriculture here is broad scale. The land values are quite low in terms of, land around the world. So you couldn't afford to spend thousands of dollars per hectare to convert it to a deeper soil.
Okay. So you had some ideas, you'd seen something around, and you're running a contracting business, and you must have woken up one morning, had this revelation and said to your wife, I'm going to design a machine that's going to be the best, is it? Is that how it happened?
No, it was much slower than that. I started off, I purchased a machine, it was built in Italy, and we thought we had a better solution to work in combination with that machine, and we did, but it still wasn't economical enough. So after much trial and error, we started to, instead of evolve their machine, we started working on our machine, which was a type of a ripper. And yeah, it was really one of those light bulb moments for me. And I sat down in the little van we had that my daughter Joanne and I were staying in at the time, and I drew this up on paper with pencil and paper, and I sent it to an engineering firm that had built a couple of bits for us. And I said, can you build that? And of course, yep, we can do that. And yeah, that's where it really started.